Well, hello, church, and welcome back to Wisdom Wednesday. We are here in Proverbs chapter 4 on the 4th of December. And filming from a different location today. We're sitting here in the foyer of the church. And so if you hear some traffic outside, it's just the road. We'll see how the audio comes out. But we're going to jump into Proverbs chapter 4 together today here. And we are going to explore the text that Solomon writes. In the first 8 chapters of Proverbs, I say this most months as we start the month, but just to recap, Proverbs is written mostly by Solomon. He's writing with the expressed intent of teaching his children, particularly his sons, wise ways in which to progress through life, often encouraging them to listen to the voice of his reason, to listen to the wisdom of their mother, and to walk in the precepts and the principles that Solomon lays out for us through the exploration, the questions, and the revelations that God has given him. Solomon's experience as the king of Israel started off with this incredible vision opportunity where God offered him power, riches, and wisdom. And Solomon says, "Give me wisdom so that I can rightly judge and lead your people, O God." And as a result, God says, "You have chosen correctly. I will also give you riches and power as well." And Solomon is the last king of Israel who governed over a united nation. After Solomon's death and his son was then the next king, the nation split into two. You had the northern and the southern kingdoms, and from that point forward, they moved as the northern and southern kingdoms, and they experienced life through different ways. The southern kingdoms had almost no good kings after that followed the way of the Lord or encouraged people towards God's word. However, the northern kingdoms had some kings that were useful in that direction. But what we see here found in Proverbs is that Solomon not only is speaking to his children, but also to us, those who are far off, wisdom and instruction that we can learn, apply to our lives, and hopefully grow in stature before God and man. That is our knowledge of who God is and how he's made us to be, so that we can go out and extend the love, the truth, the reconciliation, and the reality of God to those around us by gaining stature with those around us, by living wise lives, making good decisions, and being able to point people in the direction of Jesus on a regular basis, walking in integrity, honesty, and all of the things that we find, financial wisdom, relationship insights here in the book of Proverbs. So join me as we study most weeks, not every week. It's been a busy season, so I'm getting to these about every couple of weeks right now. But today what we're going to do is we're going to look at we're going to read verse 20 through 27. It says, "My son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ear to my words. Do not let them out of your sight, and keep them within your heart." See, it's not just that these words are supposed to be in our mind, but that the words of Solomon, the words by God through Solomon, should be stored up within our heart. That is our very being. It is from our heart where our actions are expressed. It is not just a place of logic and reason that we operate with. We try to, but we struggle with it because our heart takes over. Our emotions, our feelings, the things that we believe take over when our mind wants to try to act logically. And so what we see here is that Solomon is indicating that the words he speaks are not just for our ears to hear, but for our heart to live by. And the big difference in that, friends, is that when our heart believes something, then we are pursuant of that thing, even when our brain is confused by it. And so if I have a heart for a particular thing, then even against all reason and logic, I will pursue the thing that my heart is set upon. And we know this. We have conversations with people all the time whose hearts are set on something, and you could speak logic to them all day long, and it never changes their thought pattern on it. And the same is true for you. So we got to be careful of that. Don't let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. When we don't have the cognitive distance between what we believe and what we think and our actions, then it is health to our whole body, friends. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything flows from it. And then he gives a few steps of advice. Keep your mouth free from perversity and keep corrupt talk far from your lips. What this is speaking about is that we would acknowledge and be cautious about the words that our mouths speak on a regular basis. Are we walking in truth? Do we speak in truth? Do we speak in honesty? Do we speak in love and correction, but with full of integrity as we do those things? Keep the perversity, the lies, the unnecessary and useless things from our mouth, from our lips. Let them not even be found upon our words, so that our yes can be yes and our no can be no, and people aren't confused by what we say versus what we do. We would call that a hypocritical lifestyle. If our mouths are professing one thing, but our actions profess something different, then we have an issue. Or if our actions were trying to live these biblically filled and applicable lives, but our mouths continue to speak lies about things, or gossip, or speak behind people's back, or tear people down every time we have the opportunity to do them, even our acts of generosity no longer feel generous, because the words of our mouths are full of lies and venom. Solomon encourages us, keep your mouth free of perverse things. In fact, keep corruption talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead and fix your gaze directly before you. This is such a good thing. We know this to be true, but so often we become complacent and distracted so easily. I think of driving in this regard. How often do you drive the same route every single day and you kind of catch yourself being like, have I been paying attention to the road that I'm driving on lately? Or is my mind wandering and I'm looking over here and over there, and there's a mountain and here's a mountain, and oh right, the road. And so Solomon says, fix your gaze directly in front of you. Don't be distracted by the things over here and the things over there that are trying to call your attention. Don't become lethargic in the direction you're going. Stay focused, be intentional, and be on top of it, so that we don't get distracted by the things over here and miss the very things that are happening in front of us. This is so true of so much of our lives, that we need to be aware of the focus and the direction we're going, and not be overcome or tempted by the distractions that are around us. When we begin to identify what the destination is for where we're trying to go, it makes it easier to see where a distraction actually exists. For example, if you were trying to find a spouse, let's say, and you said, my destination is marriage, my destination is a healthy, God-fulfilling marriage that has this and this and this and this, we need to be able to identify those things that you're aiming for, so that when person A walks in and they say nice things to you, you're not distracted by it and forget the goal and the plan, the destination you're heading towards, and you walk over here. We want to stay fixed on the direction that God is calling us to, on the direction, on the goal that we're moving towards. Keep your gaze straight ahead and directly before you. Give careful thought to your paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Don't turn from the left or the right. Keep your foot from evil. Friends, this applies in so many areas of life, but especially in the spiritual and in the physical decisions that we make. When we understand the purpose, the goal, the destination we're aiming towards, it causes us to give thought to the direction of our feet. Is this current action getting me closer to the thing that I believe God is calling me to the destination that I'm aiming for? Or is this going to derail me and take me off course? Is it going to be a fun fling, but it's going to derail my purpose? And I ask this, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again because I think it's very valuable. Is this destiny or is this distraction? Let me give thought to the direction of my feet, fix my gaze squarely on Jesus, and ask this question: is this next thing going to distract me, or is it going to lead me into the destiny that God has? Because I believe God has a purpose and a plan, and that purpose and plan is for the good of those who follow and love Jesus for his kingdom, according to Romans 8:28. So I'm going to leave that with you today. What are the direction of your feet walking? Where have you maybe gone to distraction and you need to come back to destination? Express it, pray about it, share it with a friend, and walk with integrity, keeping perversity far from your lips. Thanks so much for joining me today for Wisdom Wednesday, and we will see you hopefully next week, maybe the week after. It all depends on kind of some of the scheduled things that I have going on, but we will be back again with more Wisdom Wednesday videos. God bless and enjoy the day.